Hello, I am Walter Caps with Independent News, or Independence News. Sorry, my bad. I can't talk, but I'm gonna be doing this anyways. So, I'm gonna be reacting today. I'm supporting Cornel West for president. I think he did a really bloody good job with this interview here. So go ahead, support me on Patreon. I don't have anyone supporting me yet. I'd like to be able to pay membership dues to the Green Party and be a part and take action. And, just all around do some good things for people. Alright, with that being said, like, subscribe, and let's get into the video here.
Professor, progressive activist, and now third-party presidential candidate. Dr. Cornel West is fighting against the status quo. It's a role he's very familiar with. West was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was raised in Sacramento. Even before he finished high school, he became involved in the civil rights movement. He attended organizing protests. He finished Harvard in just 3 years, graduating magna cum laude. Then he went on to Princeton, where he got his master's and his PhD. He's taught at Harvard, at Yale, and at Princeton University. He made cameos in 2 Matrix films, but also put out a hip-hop album. And he was frequently a guest on this very show. Having done all that, he's now making a run for the White House.
I enter in the quest for truth. I enter in the quest for justice. And the president.
Alright, so, as you saw what Laura Ingraham actually gave him a kind of a fair shake there. Surprising, I know. You don't expect that from Fox News a whole lot. So, she says he did college in 3 years. He graduated Harvard. He, taught at all these places. And he's been a member of the Civil Rights Activist, and he's come on her show before, so maybe, and you'll see here, he has a way of speaking that's just, you can't hate this guy. No matter what narrative Laura Ingraham will try to push here, and all that BS, you can't hate this guy. There is no hating this guy. This guy makes you love him, just by his speech and the way he talks. And Brother Cornel West, he likes to call everybody brother and sister. And you're gonna see that here in this video. Let's back up and let's go ahead and listen to him speak here.
That he's now making a run for the White House.
I enter in the quest for truth. I enter in the quest for justice. And the presidency is just one vehicle to pursue that truth and justice, what I've been trying to do all of my life.
Amen.
Joining me now, Dr. Cornel West, 2024 presidential candidate for the Green Party. Professor West, it's great to see you.
And yes, the Green Party. He originally announced for the People's Party, but obviously there's some, not good stuff, going on with, Nick Fuentes, and, the guy's a nice guy, so he didn't really want to believe it. He just wanted to believe people were smearing him, or smearing the party, to get at him, and he's like, he doesn't want all that energy, so he's like, you know what, the Green Party, they have more ballot access anyways. Green Party always is on the ballot here in Missouri that I know of. I've always supported the Green Party extremely heavily here. Fact is, you live in Missouri, I ain't gonna vote for a Democrat. And that's the damn truth. They all hate Democrats' guts. They should be hating the Republicans' guts, too. But they hate the Democrats more. For whatever reason. But that's just all the brainwashing that, people like Laura Ingraham tries to do. But, we'll continue here and, play this.
Tonight, it's really great to have you back on the show. The last time you were here, I think it was as a 2020 Bernie Sanders surrogate. So things have changed a little.
So I supported Bernie back in 2020. And I honestly didn't know he was running at 16. I wasn't old enough. I only became 18 in 2018. I was born in 99, so my age always matches the year, or will match the year for most of the year, and then that year I will turn the next age. So I'll be turning 24 this November, but I'm 23 right now in 2023.
A little bit. So, why do you think so many of the... I mean, I was laughing about that. Like Bernie Sanders.
Indeed. No,
seems like
Brother Bernie's my dear brother. But first, I want to thank you for having me on, Sister Laura. Very much so. But no, Bernie got shut down by the corporate wing of the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party is so tied to Wall Street, it's so tied to the Pentagon, that I thought it very important to build on the richer legacy that has shaped and molded me, not just the West family, not just Shiloh Baptist Church on the chocolate side of Sacramento, but the legacies of Martin Luther King Jr. and Rabbi Heschel and Edward Said and Dorothy Day and Grace Lee Boggs. So it's this legacy spills over now into electoral politics, because I'm thoroughly convinced, my dear sister, that the two-party system stands in the way for the empowerment of precious poor people and precious working people. And I am...
Amen to that, Cornel West. Brother, man, I'd love to have a conversation with you. But look, it's like... And I think you can kind of tell, she has like a little earpiece in her ear. So obviously the producers are probably talking in her ear the whole fucking time. So she might actually be wanting to say something good or whatever, but then the producers, and she's probably actually fucking agreeing with them, but then the producers are like, "Oh, you gotta bring this up, you gotta bring this up," and you'll see this here. You'll see this as you watch.
I am fundamentally committed to the plight of the least of these, not just here and around the world. I'm against the militarism abroad. I'm against the organized greed. I'm against
you said the plight of the... And you notice how her body language, she moved. That's obviously the fucking producers talking in your ear being like, you really sure about this guy?
Utilize indifference to the vulnerable, no matter what color they are, no matter what gender, no matter what sexual orientation.
Dr. West, I know you support drawing this Ukraine conflict to a close. And just tonight, the Washington Post is reporting that the Biden administration is giving backing to a plan that would remove barriers to Ukraine's entry into NATO without setting a timeline for its admission. So the Democrat Party is obviously all in, as are many Republicans, not Donald Trump. I don't think Ron DeSantis, but pretty much all the other Republicans are for the U.S. being on the hook for perpetually defending Ukraine from the aggression of any other country.
Now again, notice her framing on this, because the right wing loves to use the framing of, oh, we're spending all this money in other fucking countries, so we're not doing anything to help the poor or the working people here. But the fact is, they don't ever fucking mean it when it comes to helping the poor and the working people here. So you'll watch Cornel West. He does a really good job at twisting their own rhetoric against them, which is exactly what we need to be doing. This is exactly what I've been saying and arguing on Facebook. I take the rhetoric of the right wing, and then I turn it back against them. And that's what we need to be doing as lefties.
Why is that interventionism, let's focus on the Democrat Party, at the cornerstone now of who they are really in foreign policy? How did that happen and why?
Well, I mean, the Democratic Party has a long history of being committed to wars. Look, you can go back all the way to Vietnam. But unfortunately, we have to tell the truth. NATO, the promise would be that NATO would not move 1 inch against or toward Russian territory. A few years later, 14 former Soviet countries part of NATO. So that you can imagine any empire, the American empire, the most powerful, and you know the history of invasion and occupation, but you would probably agree that if there were Russian missiles in Mexico, Russian missiles in Canada, it would be blown to smithereens very, very quickly. Why? Because empires behave that way. Now, if you're a radical Democrat, you have a critique of the imperial overlay of your country. That includes
Well,
organized greed at the
yeah.
top with Wall Street, and it includes the war profiteers.
I would say, Cornel,
I'm in solidarity with the suffering of the Ukrainian people, but we've got.
So I want to get on what he's saying there. Alright, any empire in history, they see something that they see as a potential threat, they're going to fucking crush it. You know? I mean, despite how Christianity has been used today and in the modern times, because let's be real, people who call themselves Christian don't actually do a good job of being Christian. Other than Cornel West. Cornel West is doing a fantastic job here. But, you know, back during the times of the Roman Empire, Christianity was legalized because it was a new, radical thing. I mean, there was this fucking homeless hippie walking around, telling people to be kind to each other, and people were like, well, what the hell are you fucking talking about? Who are you? You don't have any fucking parents. Because he didn't have a fucking father. You know, they didn't know who his father was. They made this claim that he was the son of God. Or maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was just some homeless hippie who didn't have his father growing up. And had to get taken care of by another man because the man wasn't fucking faithful. Right? So, you gotta think about it like that. Alright? All he tried to do was do the right thing, like the best he could, better than any of us and any of them at the time could do that. And he showed us an example. You just be kind to people, you take care of people. And he was such a fucking pacifist to the point that when they came to fucking kill him, he let them kill him. It's like, why, God? Like, he even said it on the cross, God, why hast thou forsaken me? It's not that. He knew that that's what he would have to go through. You know, he knew that. You know, in order to get anybody to fucking listen. And, you know, unfortunately, I feel that. I feel that today. Sometimes you feel like you just got to do the right thing, show people you're gonna do the right thing better than they're gonna do the right thing, and then potentially get killed for it. Like Jesus, like Martin Luther King, or like JFK, like John Lennon. All these people who get killed for doing the right thing. Alright? So let's continue.
Got to bring that war to a stop, ceasefire, and then proceed diplomatically and transfer some of those funds from the military to investment in jobs and health care and quality education and decent homes.
Dr. West, one thing I'm very curious about, because on these seminal issues, like you and I disagree on a lot, but you and I actually agree on a lot. On the surveillance state, on the perpetual war, on the Wall Street influence in politics. We agree on a lot of things. To me, it seems like you're closer in many ways to populist conservatives on those types of issues than you are the modern Democrat Party. And I know you're running as a Green, but can't you tonight say that Donald Trump did more for African Americans in the inner city with increased real median income, increased entrepreneurial opportunities, criminal justice reform, all the things that he did when he was president, given all the investigations, all the stuff that was happening? Can't you recognize that he actually was doing his best at the time to stand up for disenfranchised people with an economy that was actually growing for the first time? For real median income was growing for all demographic groups.
But you have to acknowledge that the grotesque wealth inequality was increasing even as those low unemployment rates were in place. Now, I give him credit for the low unemployment.
Man, he is such a better seeker than I am. I mean, I would have talked so much fucking crap back to her. But no, I mean, you see the framing she's trying to do here, though. She's trying to be like, okay, I'm going to use you to attack Biden and the Democrats just to go rah-rah for my party and not piss off Trump. And then Cornel's just like, listen, I'm not gonna play that game. Well, I'm just gonna be kind and tell you what I'm doing and why I'm running.
Employment rates. But the problem with Brother Trump, and it's very important to keep in mind, we got to do away with all this hatred and revenge. I don't hate Brother Trump. I hate the lies, and I hate the gangster activity, and I hate the kind of neo-fascist language.
Okay, so I'll say this. So in my church that I've been going to, it's not this year. It was, I think, last year or the year before. But, there was a, phrase, they were saying called "Learn to Hate Sin." That was, like, one of their themes for the month. And it was a whole thing about how, like, we're not supposed to be hating people. We're supposed to be hating what people do that's wrong. Right? You don't hate John Lennon. You hate the fact that, yeah, sometimes he beat his fucking wife. Yeah, sometimes he wasn't always the best fucking person. But guess what? He wrote the songs, All You Need Is Love. He wrote the song, Power to the People, Give Peace a Chance. Maybe Paul McCartney was a fucking asshole to the rest of them. Now, yes, I'm gonna talk about the Beatles a lot. I'm a big fucking Beatles fan. Alright, because we all know how the breakup went. Anybody know that's all very well documented and a lot better documented than the Jesus stuff, alright? Now, I can quote the Bible anytime, any day, but all the Beatles stuff is documented. Anybody can look that stuff up and find that information, alright? Everything about Paul's life is out there for everybody to see. Whether or not he's a body double or not. But yeah, you see, they're trying to, get him to do these documents, and he's just like, no. Listen, I don't hate these people. I hate what they did. And that's a very important distinction, alright? Not to hate these people, but hate what they do.
He uses. When he trashes Muslims, when he trashes, calling black football players sons of bitch. No, his language is neo-fascist, and he was still tied to big military, still allowing Wall Street to get away. That's where you and I would disagree. That's where we disagree.
Yeah,
but I'll
Cornel,
say this.
but the left has targeted
I don't hate
him.
Biden, but I hate Biden's hypocrisy.
Well, I know,
hate his neoliberal policies
yeah, but
too.
the surveillance state that you and I I think a lot of conservatives have grown incredibly mistrustful of, and the outsized influence of the Pentagon, they were all turned against Trump. So you have to acknowledge that. Milley, the whole Milley apparatus, they were all against Trump. All of them. Why were they against Trump if he was a big threat?
It's because that neoliberal apparatus wanted to retain its status, and Trump came in as a critic from the right wing.
Right.
And that's where the neo-fascism comes in, by trashing the immigrants, trashing too many precious gay brothers and lesbian sisters and so forth.
I know that's your line,
he didn't say too many nice
that.
things.
Yeah,
he didn't say too many nice
that.
things about my and even the people to support. But I can tell you this. As a presidential candidate, I'm going straight into Brother Trump's country, and I'm going to tell the brothers and sisters of all colors.
It's like, listen, I'm telling you the truth. That is the truth of the reality. But here, I don't hate him. I hate that he was doing it and using it. I love that. Again, much better person than I am. I would talk trash on Trump any time of the day. And I would talk trash on Biden any time of the day. Cause I ain't like either of them.
I want you not to scapegoat the most vulnerable. I want you to confront the most powerful. That's right. Wall Street. That's Silicon Valley. That's the war profiteers of Pentagon.
Yeah.
That's where I think we need to go.
They're going to hate you. They're going to hate you, and they're going to hate Trump.
I welcome their hostility, because as
I want to ask you.
Yes,
I want to ask you about an open border. I mean, take it away from Trump. The border is essentially open. If you want to come into the country and come in, which the liberals have all said they're always for. They like the idea of an open border. Do you think an open border has helped the plight of African Americans in cities like Chicago, in New York, St. Louis, Baltimore, Oakland, San Francisco? Has it?
So, I want to say this right now. Nobody is saying we should have an open border. That is completely made up bullshit. Alright? There is nobody in their right mind saying we need to have a fucking open border. It's a fucking talking point that's been used since the country was fucking founded. It's a fucking talking point of every fucking right-wing dictator in every fucking country in all of history. Oh, we gotta secure our borders. We can't. Guess what? You secure our borders. We have a border. Alright? It's not an open border. Alright? I go to Mexico. There's a fucking checkpoint. I go to Canada. There's a fucking checkpoint. Alright? I can't just walk across the border. We don't have fucking open borders, people. Alright? I mean, we should make it easier for people to travel between countries, so that people can come visit. Because we want to have a good country that we can show off to the world, don't we? I mean, let's have the best fucking infrastructure. Let's have the best everything in this country, and then invite people in, and we'll show it the fuck off to people. We'll show off our wealth and our prosperity. But we don't have that to show off right now. I gotta go to fucking Germany or any countries in Europe so that they can show that off to me. Here in fucking Missouri, in Independence, Missouri. The town that's named after the fucking Declaration of Independence. I gotta go there to get shown, people actually, taking heed to those fucking words, like in France. Because remember, we did the revolution before France did. France did their revolution in response to our revolution because they saw that document of the Declaration of Independence. That governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And they took that a lot more radically than we did. The people here wrote that. Well, Thomas Jefferson wrote that, alright? But the people who actually were in power and wanting to, have the independence, they just wanted independence to not pay fucking taxes to England, alright? So, let's be real, alright? Now, I want the rich and powerful to pay taxes and have those taxes go to helping the poor and the weak and the vulnerable and the sick and the homeless and heal people. So let's be real. Let's be honest about the reality. Now the French, took that word that we hold these truths that all men are self-evident that all men are created equal, and they held a revolution and they killed their king. Right? They killed Mary Antoinette because she was a fucking Kardashian. Seriously, Kim Kardashian. You want a modern example of that? Kim Kardashian. Or any dumb rich girl who doesn't understand crap. It's the white girl stereotype. It's the white girl stereotype, people. Listen, I'm white. I'm a white male, cis white male. You know what the fuck ever. I don't care. I'm Christian. Everything supposedly on the stereotype that the right-wingers love and left-wingers hate. Now, I'm a left-winger, but, that's the terminology I fucking hear all the time living in fucking Missouri. As you can see here, I got a fucking heart on Missouri because I fucking love my state, alright? I don't do that because I fucking hate where I live. I talk about this shit because I love it. If I hated where I live, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't be doing this. If I hated my country, I wouldn't be doing this. I would be getting the fuck out of here. You know what? And I wanted to. But I'm not getting the fuck out of here. I want to stay. Because this is my home, and I want to take care of my home. Anyways, let's go back. There we go. So
helped their standard of living?
Well, I mean, one is that you first always have to begin at the top. You have to look at the ways in which the business people and the property owners bring in cheap labor in order to keep the wages low. That's why I support not just trade union movements. That's why I support the various strikes that's on the way this summer to make sure working people gain concessions because
you sound
those
like
at the
Ron
top
DeSantis.
seem to be so greedy. They seem
No,
to be so greedy.
You sound like Bernie Sanders. Ron DeSantis.
No, but
yeah.
He's fucking, excuse me, allowing people to run over protesters? No, and I'm serious. You know, that's like very fucking anti-person. Ron DeSantis would be a disaster for the country. Alright, I'd rather have Trump than him. Because at least I know Trump, people aren't gonna fucking take seriously if he tries to take the country over. But Ron DeSantis, people fucking will. And he's smarter than fucking Trump. He's gonna be more clever than Trump about how he does it. And he is only out for himself. And that's the problem with the fucking Republicans. They act like they're for you and they say, oh, the Democrats are only out for themselves. Well, guess what? They're out for themselves too. They don't give a shit about you. They give a shit about furthering their own political career. Cornel West, and I'll show you proof. He's been on this path since he was in the 60s. Since the fucking 60s and before. He was a civil rights activist. He was there during the time of Martin Luther King. He was there. He's been doing this shit for years, and he's been people's dream presidential candidate for a long time. You know, people wanted him to primary Obama. You know, people have been wanting this guy to run for president for so fucking long. And he's finally fucking doing it. You know, again, he is such a great speaker. And, you know, people wanted Bernie, too. Bernie was somebody people wanted to, because people could see. You could go on C-SPAN, you know, at any time. And, you know, the only time C-SPAN would be any kind of interesting was when Bernie Sanders was speaking. Because he was the only one talking about poor people and working people struggling in Congress since the 90s, you know, and 80s. You know, he's been in politics. And he's been talking about the plights of the poor, the plights of the working people, and all this stuff about the military budget getting too big. And he's been talking about this and talking against it. And he's voted no on every single military budget since he's been on Congress, whether it's in Congress or the Senate, right? You know, people can see this. If you're actually watching what's going on, you're watching what's going on. If you're not, you're just gonna end up listening to dumb people like Laura Ingraham. You know, and I don't want to call her dumb, you know, because I get it. She has that producer in her fucking ear. And the producers are telling her, hey, you gotta talk about this, you gotta do this, because this is your job, you know. And, but she's doing a pretty good job. She hasn't rocked the boat too much, but she's like, no, I'm listening to Cornel West because he's saying crap I actually agree with. So, again, credit to Laura Ingraham, alright? I want to see more of this kind of stuff, more of this kind of challenging the fucking producers crap on Fox News. You know? Because that is when Fox News is actually fucking good to watch.
But the problem with DeSantis is he's got the xenophobic, dimension to it. But I want the immigrants and the workers of all colors to come together against the bosses. DeSantis still has too much xenophobia for me. And that's a radical difference between right-wing populists and highly left-oriented people in love with poor and working people, no matter what color.
Cornel, I think that, and may I call you Cornel? I always call you Doctor, right? Cornel,
Oh, absolutely,
Dr. West.
absolutely, my dear, absolutely.
Do you think there are ways for the left-wing populists and the right-wing or conservative populists can work together on?
Yes. Yes, we absolutely can. Yes, we can. Alright, you know, Obama would say that shit that whenever he was running. I know, I was a little kid. You know, I was born in 99. Okay? I remember Bush. Everybody hated Bush. My grandparents hated Bush. My grandpa, he hated Bush. You know, the person I stayed with when I was homeless in 2020, he hated Bush with a burning passion. Alright? Bush was a disaster. You know, and then Obama came along talking about change. We're gonna do things differently. He was gonna be our first black president. And, you know, magically, him having black skin means shit was gonna be fucking different. But guess what? He acted like, and you'll see Cornel West. He critiqued Obama when Obama was in office. And I can do a video and I can share that too. So, you know, but yes, absolutely, the left populists and the right populists can definitely work together. But my left-wing brothers and sisters, we need to stop, you know, this whole, oh, people are xenophobic and blah, 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 and I don't want to associate that. Like, you know what? There are people who joke around. Alright, they're not serious about being racist and whatnot, and I get it. You know, we don't want to be like fucking Weimar Republic in Berlin in 1930s where nobody gave a shit and nobody actually was like, well, it's not gonna happen to me, so I'm not gonna do anything about it. Blah, blah, blah. And then look what fucking happened. Hitler came to power, right? You know, but, you know, we can't just write people off because they make a fucking edgy joke, okay? You know, we gotta listen to people. We gotta understand people. Listen with our hearts and minds. And same to fucking Christians, too. You gotta listen to fucking atheists as well. You know, atheists are atheists because they see your fucking hypocrisy. They see the hypocrisy of people like Laura Ingraham. And all those people who claim to be fucking Christian and about loving other people, but don't. Right? They see the hypocrisy. There's a reason why they're atheists, okay? And the reason why they're atheists is because Christians aren't good at being Christians. Alright? Sorry. Tough shit. I'm gonna piss off everybody here. And you know what? That's my job. I'm gonna piss everybody off to make y'all realize, and, you know, and it's South Park rules, alright? You piss everybody off, and nobody can talk shit to you, because you piss everybody off, right? I mean, that's why South Park's been on air for so fucking long. That's why they're able to get away with this fucking legally fucking over HBO and Paramount Plus crap, you know? I mean, and Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they were Mormons. You know, they didn't even get excommunicated from the church while running South Park until they made their Joseph Smith episode. Right? So until they made fun of the Mormons were like, okay, you're fine, you're making fun of everybody but us. And as soon as they made fun of them, they were like, oh no, we're gonna turn on you. Right? And you're excommunicated from the church, and we're gonna talk crap, we're gonna say you're influenced by... You actually watch every single episode of fucking South Park. There's a lesson in every single episode. There really is. Every single episode has a lesson or a moral to the story. And same thing with the Book Mormon play. Anyways, let's continue here.
These issues where there is common ground, whether it's on the war front
there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. My dear brother Clifton West has said that what we need is a paradigm shift in politics. What we need is an ideological realignment of the landscape. And what that means with those who have critiques of predatory capitalist processes, those who have critiques of white supremacy, you and I are going to fight on the vicious legacy of white supremacy. coming because the racism is still operating, not as intense as it was 75 years ago, but it's still there in so many different ways. I think of what's happening right now with my two dear brothers in Mississippi. But, so we have to, but also I don't downplay the vicious attacks on my gay brothers and lesbian sisters and trans, and the defense of women and women having control over their bodies and reproductive rights.
Do you
so
think,
at that
wait,
point,
you know what I don't
see,
know your view on, Cornel, is your view on trans athletes in women's sports, because you are a big champion
See, they were
of
like,
women.
okay, we can't get him on anything else. Let's see if we can get him to attack one of these other people. And he
We
just
disagree
does
on
such
the
a
abortion
good
issue, but
job.
you are a big champion of women,
right,
and I appreciate that. I was a female athlete, my day, ages ago. But what about?
Oh, and also fucking playing the identity politics card when it's convenient for her, but she'll talk crap when anybody else using the identity politics card. Okay, well, I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide because Cornel West does such a good job.
Do you think
here.
trans men who are biological men should, you know, like, be in the Wimbledon finals?
You know, I mean, I am committed to the dignity of precious trans folk because they're so vulnerable, and I just hate to see them
don't have a shot,
assaulted
then.
and attacked. But I'm also willing to learn and listen in the argument because I think it depends on case to case and context to context. I just want to make sure that the most vulnerable are never, ever
Women are
trashed.
vulnerable. Yeah, women are vulnerable if they're competing against men in most sports. All right, Dr. West, come back. It's great to have.
But that's another issue. But
we'll come back soon.
Thank you so much, though.
Great to see you as always.
Okay, he does a good job. Listen, I'm not going to come on here and I'm not going to attack vulnerable people with you. Alright, I'm going to tell you what I think. You know, it's a complicated issue. Because you know what? Some of this shit is complicated issues. And you know, I'm going to probably get in a lot of trouble for saying this. Abortion is a complicated issue, but let me tell you, the government shouldn't be involved in deciding whether or not a woman can fucking have a baby or not. Alright? That's between the woman, the parents, and God. Alright? That's between the parents and God. That's it. That's not between the government. The government has no involvement in that. You know what? If it's God's will that they get aborted, then they get aborted. Tough shit. You know what? My mom thought about aborting me when I was a baby. People tried to convince me to get aborted when I was a baby. But guess what? I didn't get aborted. I'm still here. You know, and my mom smoked fucking crack when I was born. And pregnant. And other crap. And I was born with a cleft lip palate. And I have mental health issues to this fucking day. You know? And that's not my fault. I didn't choose that. Alright? That was all actions of my fucking mother. But you know, that doesn't mean my mother should have had to suffer. That doesn't mean I should have been separated from my parents. No, that is wrong. And I don't care what anybody here says. No one should be separated from their parents. You know, period. You need to heal people. You need to heal families. You need to heal that divide. You know, and bring families back together, not taking families apart, which is what we have been doing. You know, not only at the border, but here in this country, because I've lived it. I lived it. I understand discrimination, because I've been discriminated against, despite the fact that I have white skin. I have a fucking cleft palate, alright? All these people, you look at their fucking mouths, they have their fucking cleft. It doesn't matter whether he has black skin or she has white skin. They have their fucking clefts together, and they're fine. You know what? I was bullied by people with both black and white skin. Alright? I didn't see a difference in color until I learned that there was a whole fucking big thing about people being racist to people because their skin color was different. And I thought it was the dumbest crap ever. I really did. Because people of both colors made fun of me for not having a fucking top lip. Right? So, you know, let's quit the fucking hypocrisy. Let's quit the BS. You know, and honestly, I'm gonna work on my fucking anger and hate, you know, and try to hate less and try to love more. Because that's what we need to be doing. But it's hard for me to perpetuate that, and hard for me to do that if I don't get that in response. So please, listen to this guy. Make him president. Support the Green Party. Nobody wants Trump or Biden. Alright? Nobody wants Trump or Biden. You know, and they're not gonna let Marianne Williamson get in there. You know, as much as I love Marianne Williamson, she's not gonna get the primary. You know, we tried this with fucking Bernie Sanders twice. You know, if Bernie Sanders didn't have a snowball's chance in hell, there's no way Marianne's gonna get in there. I'm sorry. I fucking love Marianne. I love the way she speaks too, but she ain't got a chance in hell. But I'm still gonna support Marianne. I'm still gonna push her name out there. You know, because I don't like RFK. You know, I like Marianne better. But she ain't got a snowball's chance in hell. You know, and that's honestly what we need, and that takes a miracle from God. So, and in order to get miracles from God, we have to be loving and caring people. So let's be loving and caring, and we'll get somebody like him as our leader. We pick him, you know. God told the prophet Samuel, hearken the voice of the people, and then basically told the people of Israel, alright, you all get a good king, I'm gonna bless the fucking nation. You all get a bad king, I'm gonna curse the fucking nation. Alright? There's no in between. Alright? So, we can either elect, you know, that's the thing. We can vote now. We choose who our leader is, who our king, who our president, who our representatives in Congress are. We have that choice. God gave us free will. Let's use it to actually help people. Alright, I'm gonna get off my fucking high horse here. But, please, just please, do the right thing. Thank you, and have a great day. Again, like and subscribe, support me on Patreon, if you don't want me to fucking starve to death. Thank you. Love you all.